Aloha and welcome to Conversations to Enlighten and Heal. I'm your host, KG Stiles. Conversations is sponsored by Pure Plant Essentials, Organic Aromatherapy. For YouTubers, please subscribe to KG Stiles channel so you never miss a show. And for podcast lovers on iTunes, please subscribe to our Conversations to Enlighten and Heal show so you never miss a show. Today, I am excited to be speaking with Lada Duncheva. Lada is an internationally renowned astrologer, lecturer, and teacher, loved all over the world for her astrology and esoteric teachings. Lada has studied Vedic, Hellenistic, medieval, and modern astrology under the tutelage of famous astrologers around the world. On today's show, Lada will talk about her favorite topic, love and romance. If you've ever had questions about why you are so powerfully attracted to certain people, or have any juicy, hot romance questions you'd love to have insights about, then you don't want to miss this show. After the show, Lada will stay on to answer your questions. So, Lada was here with me, and then she wasn't able to get her branding up, and so she tried to log in, and hopefully she's going to be back any second now. So, Lada, where are you? So, we'll give her a few minutes, and I guess we'll just have to reschedule the show if she's not able to log back on. So I don't know. Anyway, we'll give it a few minutes, and the Q&A chat window is open if you want to post your questions for Lada. And hello, I see one person there. So sorry, I don't know if you heard, Lada was having trouble. She was on, and then she wasn't able to get her branding up, so she tried to restart, and it seems like she's having a problem getting back on. So, because she's not here. So, if you want to leave your questions, hopefully she will get back on, and I know she will answer your questions. If you have any questions, you're welcome to post them, and she will answer them. So just give her another minute here. If we don't see her come back on, we'll just assume she can't get on back on the show. I don't know what happened. So hello, Lada. Anyway, I just sent her an email, and I'm assuming she is trying to log back in. I have no idea why. We may just have to reschedule, or I got an email from Lada. Looks like her laptop is totally she's not able at all to open up Hangouts. So she's asking if she can do it over the phone, and I don't. Here. Click on, yeah, here. Let's see if this works. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Lada, just click on, there should be a link right there for you to click on. You should be able to, there should be a link that only you can see on the event page. And you should be able to click on that and come into the green room. So can you hear me? I don't think I can write anything. I can only talk. So, you should be able to, I don't know if you can see a link that you can click on. That will bring you in the green room. Yeah, there should be a link on the right-hand side. It's kind of near the top. It says green room invitation. If you just click on that, you did get an invitation already. I sent you an invitation. I can send you an invitation again. I can do that. Let's see if that works. Okay, I sent you another invitation. I just sent you a link. So hopefully, I mean, there should be a link. You should have a link that I sent you that you can use to log in. So I hope I resent it to you. So hopefully you got it. Sent you a link. So hopefully, there should be a link.
Oh my God.
That I sent you. Use to log in.
I think I'm having a nervous breakdown.
I resent it to you. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's not worth it.
Just a second. Wow. Do you still hear me? See me? Okay.
Yes, I can.
Sorry about
you.
I could not find anywhere the green invite button, and I didn't know what to do.
You did great. You did great. So I already introduced you. This is Lada Duncheva, and I've already introduced you. So welcome to the show, Lada. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad you were able to find your way back in. I'm excited to talk to you about the might of love, romance, and karmic relationships. For me, this is one of the most exciting topics in astrology. So So let's get right to it. Why are we so magnetically attracted to certain people?
Usually, if there is a heavy karma between two people, we need to be magnetically attracted to them, otherwise we'll run away like like the devil is chasing us if we know what's about to happen, and all the ups and downs and emotional turmoils or rebalancing of karma we have to do. So that's why it's these hooks that happen in relationships, and sometimes obsessive and intense, and so we can, and these hooks are there till the karma runs out. And you know when the karmas run out, when you no longer react intensely to the person. And actually, the most interesting relationships are the most karmic ones. The ones that are not karmic, the ones that are the so-called dharmic ones, which are there, supportive, everything is great, they're never as intense, because your reactions in those relationships is easygoing, it's harmonious. You're not stressed in them, but this friction that the karmic relationships create are the most roller coaster relationships. The one that we say about the way I lost my head, I was totally, like a schoolgirl. But they're usually the ones that actually are not, or until this feeling lasts, this high excitability, nervousness, and this irrational reaction to the other person, which we think is actually being in love. And this is actually a strong indication of karma, this irrational reaction to the other person. And everyone, when they meet such a relationship, they say, wow, I met my soulmate, and I actually met a karmic partner that you have a lot of balancing to do with, But it's often, you can see these things when there is very heavy karma between two people with certain astrological indications. And one of them is always another person's planets triggering your 12th house, because this is the house of, past karma, past life karma, especially difficult karma. When someone triggers your past life, your 12th house, which is past lives, usually those people, you have to do and give more for this person who triggers your 12th house, because it's your own 12th house that they trigger. There's someone from the past life, but you usually say, if you have your ascendant in Virgo and someone has their sun in Leo, or their Venus, or a few planets, or Saturn, this person triggers your past life karma. So you have to give something to them. You have to, it will be somehow unbalanced relationship in some respect. One will be giving a bit more, because 12th house is about giving unconditionally. It's about almost like charity. And even if they do you wrong sometimes, and others say, you're giving too much, are you blind, you kind of feel compelled to do it, because that's the nature of, this is karmic. Relationships are about rebalancing something that wasn't, too balanced. Maybe this person was taking care of you in a past lifetime and you want to pay it off now. Maybe this person was helping you a lot, or maybe you hurt this person a lot in a past lifetime, and now it's time for them to hurt you. So there is some disbalance always. It's not always negative. Maybe if your 12th house is triggered by another planets, you'll be giving more to this person, like supporting them and unconditionally, in a sense, because 12th house is very unconditional. It doesn't have to be for bad. It doesn't always have to be like, someone hurt you and they trigger in a past life. You hurt someone in a past life, they trigger your 12th house and they hurt you back now. It doesn't always have to be this, but usually it's about giving more than receiving. This is what karmic relationships are. And when the karma runs out, somehow the compelling relationship, this compelling feeling about it disintegrates. And the two people either separate, or they can turn the relationship from karmic into the so-called dharmic one. Dharmic relationships are the ones that people are mutually supportive. Like sometimes they call them soulmates, or I don't know if it's, I believe we have many soulmates, but it's their relationships where there is equal give and take, in a sense. And karmic relationships are also strongly indicated by Ketu. Any interaspects between Ketu, which is the planet also, it's a point of past lives. And if it falls, and you can see how someone triggered you, what karma you had with someone in a past lifetime, by checking what house you trigger with your Ketu in there, horoscope and check what house they trigger in your horoscope with their Ketu. Ketu is the south node of the moon, basically. This is really the past. And for example, let's see if someone triggers with their Ketu your seventh house. Very likely you are in a marriage relationship. Very likely you are seventh house relationship or some kind of business relationship. You are kind of partners in some way in a past lifetime. Whether that was good or bad depends on the lord of this Ketu, you know, how it's aspected and things like that. Or if it's the 10th house, maybe you had a karma somehow that one was the boss of the other, one was the, you know, authority figure over the other, or one helped you develop your career in some way. Or if it's in the 6th house, maybe one was caregiver of the other. You know, there are different combinations. 3rd house, you might have been siblings. You know, their 9th house, one was a teacher or mentor, you know, depending what house is triggered. This very strongly indicates what role of someone was in your past lifetime or and you in their past lifetime. And sorry. And seeing if your planets aspect well their Ketu, say for example, someone's Ketu falls in my 5th house. Maybe this was a child of mine in a past lifetime or a lover. I know both are a bit different, but we had fun, or this was a child of mine in some way. And my planets aspect their Ketu in a good way, then it was a good experience. If they're with squares and oppositions, you know, maybe it was much more stressful experience. But you can see if you've had a really, because everyone that's in our life, we've had karma with them, we've had past lifetimes. The important people like marriage partners, like lovers that we love a lot, children, parents, all of these relationships we're not meeting for the first time. And Ketu's position will show you what the connection was, what those people helped you, or what role they played in your past lifetime, or what kind of difficulties they presented. But especially strongly, you see if you have very strong karma with someone, is if your Ketu or their Ketu falls on personal planets of the other. One's Ketu, south node, close conjunction within 10 degrees, I would say, with personal planets or with the ascendant, or the, you know, the ascendant point. The ascendant, sun, moon. For example, if it's with your moon, maybe it was a mother figure. If it's with the sun, a father figure, or a boss or authority figure. If it was, or you had a family together, you know, if it's with Venus, definitely lovers. You had a love story from before. If it was, and this is something that hasn't been completed. That's why when it's Ketu, it means that you come back to complete this. Because everyone, you know, even people that don't have their planets with your Ketu or the opposite, they might have been, you know, in your life, they were someone important in a past lifetime for your game. But the ones that have the Ketu connection, they mean that something was interrupted then and it needs to be completed in this lifetime. Some role of, for example, caring, if it was the mother, some nurturing role, some, you know, giving care in some way. It needs to be rebalanced in some way this time. And the thing is that Ketu first strongly connects in synastry, which is comparing two charts. People are drawn to each other that have Ketu connections with Sun, Moon, Venus. They feel like, oh my God, they found each other again. It's like they're picking up. If their life ended abruptly the previous time, they couldn't complete the relationship, or someone, they got separated for some reason, something happened, they had more energy and things to learn from each other. This is if you see Ketu interconnections and you're meeting this person now to complete it with them. And immediately it's like they're picking up a relationship from a middle point. That's why when you have strong Ketu interconnections, people feel like, they say like, I feel so comfortable with this person, like I've known him forever. For example, my husband, his Ketu falls on my ascendant, and my Ketu falls on his Venus, Sun, and Mercury. So when we saw each other on the next day, we started talking about children and getting married already. And it wasn't even, you know, it was immediately we felt so comfortable with each other. But Ketu relationships, even if initially they start very strong, there is something to be completed. You're completing some lessons, and sooner or later you learn those lessons. You've started them already. And you start dissolving the quality of that planet. It's kind of, it starts to fizzle out. This is the feeling. Ketu is emptying influence. It's the tail of the dragon that excretes. So slowly you start excreting this. And it's once the person has developed it or completed whatever planet you're working on together, and some kind of a distancing starts feeling, you know, some kind of a fizzling out. So such relationship, especially for young people that want passion, excitement, that want, you know, the intensity, Ketu relationships usually fall apart for them with time. Not always, but with time it does, because they're looking for excitement, and Ketu dissolves this excitement gradually. But people who are more spiritual, they can really appreciate, or maybe in older age, Ketu relationships can be appreciated because they have the quiet wisdom and quiet beauty in them. With time, it's like, say, example, you have someone Ketu with your Mercury, you were very, when you met, you were communicating a lot, you had a lot of mutual interest, and like you picked up speaking as if you've just put the phone down and you started 5 minutes later from a past lifetime, continue. But with time, it diminishes the communication, the mutual interest and hobbies, which is, again, Ketu, or even friends, they diminish in some way. And two people have to be, you know, if they're very active, it's like there is this decrease, and they have to be okay. They have to be more spiritual and detached. People in Ketu relationships, very karmic past lifetime relationship, if they want to keep the relationship going long, they have to have a bit more, less codependent relationships, especially if Ketu is with the moon of the other, with the sun, with the ascendant, with Venus, even with Mercury. It has to be somehow less codependent. Maybe they have separate circles of friends, and everyone has something else, you know, not someone else on the side, but a bit more their own lives in a sense. And if they're okay with that, because Ketu is about detaching, if they're okay to live with this detachment, to and even the passion, when Venus Ketu, the passion can decrease more and more, you know, but some kind of spiritual love appears at its place. The physical manifestations of those planets, the outer manifestation for affection, for example, of sharing emotions, of talking, of, you know, whatever the sense, can decrease, but the inner qualities of those planets, which is more spiritual, increases with time. So this is when you turn this relationship from karmic, you can turn it to dharmic, to supportive ones, but it needs some kind of detachment. So Ketu, people who have Ketu interaspect with each other, it's not a doomed relationship unless you're really looking for passion and really looking for someone to rock your boat all the time. Then you'll probably move to more Rahu relationships, where your Rahu connects with someone's Venus and Mars, because that's like non-stop there. The outer manifestations of the Mars, sex, Venus affections are always out there and increase with time more. But with Ketu, they decrease and they become inverted. And a person, people who are more self-sufficient, people who are more spiritual, people who can rely on themselves more to find happiness rather than looking from the other person, they can have great relationships, Ketu relationships. But usually in later age and more mature people, or after, you know, if they're okay with this, because the Ketu's attitude is, I'm okay with or without you. It's kind of indifference. This is the detachment. It's spiritual, you know, it's okay with it, it's not okay with it. So these relationships, they will go great if you have this acceptance of that. And otherwise, if you want the really crazy relationships, go with the Rahu interconnections, because Rahu is what we have to develop in this lifetime. And but actually some Ketu connections are very good. Ketu Mars of one person and Ketu Saturn of one and another person. This, whatever Ketu is with, it decreases. So in past lifetime, they had probably some enmity if it's Mars. They maybe had karma of arguments, and they meet and they argue a lot at the beginning, but or some obstacles they have to do. But the longer they're together, the less Mars they get. The less arguments, the less obstacles, the less pain, the less complexes if it's Saturn, you know, psychological complexes. So the less responsibilities. Initially, the energy of Ketu is very strong because you pick up something, almost like, you know, as I said, carry on from the past. So the relationship with Ketu Saturn starts with some heavy responsibilities or obstacles. or rules, but with time they decrease less and less and less and less. So that's kind of nicer, you know. And you conclude some Saturn ego karma, responsibilities, of blockages. With Mars, some, you know, of anger. So it's good. But when the good planets are with Ketu, there is this detachment. There is this, you know, aloofness that starts happening, and introversion, because Ketu is about introverting the qualities of this planet rather than seeking the qualities of this planet from the other partner, and introverting them, having them within, being self-sufficient in a sense. So such Ketu relationships are good when two people are mature enough to be self-sufficient. They learn with time, being with this person, that they'll be getting less and less of this, and accept it and be okay with that. Then actually they can be happy together, you know. But when this Rahu person comes around, they might lose all their marbles and their composure, you know. Because usually people who have Rahu Venus, which is the North Node, which is like a hook, which is like something that we really need to develop in this lifetime. And this is where we actually have no, you know, we're not very good at whatever Rahu is. And we kind of make blunders. And we are very greedy there. We want more and more. Rahu is the mouth of the dragon. So whatever, if your Rahu falls with another person's Venus, my God, you'll be greedy for more love, for more affection, for more outer manifestations of love. And when you're greedy from someone for this, you stimulate this person. They give you more. It goes both ways. Sometimes the Venus, the Rahu person. But the longer they're together, the more sensual and physical enjoyments they are. And, you know, they might be 7-8 years together, 10-15 years, and their sex life might be still going strong, and they get excited for each other, you know. Which in our material society, which is very focused on outer things and about excitement and passion, this is what we treasure more in the West, you know. But the love relationships of Ketu are also, they have the quiet inner spiritual beauty. While Rahu ones are wild, they're the flashy ones, they're the ones that we're obsessed with, the ones that, as I said, Rahu is the more you eat, the hungrier you are there. And it's like a head without body, it never gets fed up. But the person whose Rahu falls on any planet of yours really helps you develop that planet, and you manifest it more, and you bring this planet into the life of the Rahu person as well. So when you have Rahu connections, you're here to work on increasing the outer manifestations of this planet. So someone whose Rahu falls on your sun might be the one who helps you find out your career, maybe something to do with your goals, you with your true inner identity, with more confidence, you know, to establish your authority in some way, or this person can bring more authority into your life in some way. Your creativity, your excitement, you know, to find it, inspiration. Someone's Rahu falls on your Jupiter, this person will stimulate you to look for different spiritual belief systems, or can even stimulate in you. Jupiter is wealth and finances in some way, and can increase those. Rahu with your Venus, we said what happens, you know, you're probably together to work on balanced relationships. You're together to work on Venus things. So you'll be getting more and more of those Venus things. You're bringing more also balance and beauty and affection into the life of the other person, especially physical and material beauty as well, outer harmony, even sense of art and beauty, and some kind of sense of contentment, emotional, you know, satisfaction and pleasure. And the other person is also, you know, when you manifest something, it kind of, the other reflects it back to you. But say if you have your Saturn with Rahu, this is when, well, this person is here to teach you about Saturnian lessons, or you both each other teach Saturnian lessons about responsibility. So the longer you're together, the more you learn about boundaries, responsibilities, duties, the more you learn about saying no, for example, self-discipline. So it might be not the most fun relationships, but this can be a relationship that teaches you the most. My best friend has her Saturn on my Rahu. And this was the one person who taught me self-control. when I was so out of control. I'm someone who's very Rahu person. I have moon with Rahu, and these are by birth, and these people are like so greedy with food, with everything, with drinks. They kind of want emotionally. They always feel more. I want more. Like this is not enough. This is I want more. You know, they kind of go overboard. And my friend with her Saturn on my Rahu really kind of taught me how to be, especially in the 7th house. It happened to be. So she taught me how to be controlled and restrained in relationships, how not to go for every guy that winked at me, you know, how to be some more restrained, which is all about Saturn, self-control, saying no, saying, you know, being, having boundaries. And it was not very nice because she would actually sometimes be like angry with me and a bit like an authority figure for me, authoritarian. But that's how it, you know, that's how it works. These people doesn't have to be evil people in your life. They can be really people that teach you very useful lessons. Sorry about that. I need to take a breath. But Mars people, Mars with Rahu, these people can be here to teach you self-assertiveness, maybe to become your martial arts teacher, maybe to argue with you. The longer you're together, the more you argue. But definitely they'll teach you how to express more correctly, or you can do that to them, your anger, some anger issues, you know, some proper focusing of willpower, how to develop willpower as well. Competition, rivalry, opinions. Mercury, this person, the longer you're together, the more interest they will provoke in you, or you in them, like interest, like hobbies, like curiosity in certain things. The more conversationally you talk more and more. While with Ketu, this is less and less, and there can be even sometimes a telepathic connection, you know. But these are, according to, you know, traditional astrology, and I have checked this over and over with past life regressions. If two people have such connections, indeed, past life connections show that indicate exactly, might not, you know, very much describe the story of those two planets together. And sorry. And yes, and the main thing to remember is that Ketu relationships are more subdued, more introverted. They need to be a bit more aloof, a bit more less codependent, while Rahu relationships can become very codependent, very, you know, obsessive, intense, and sometimes even a bit predatory. But this is what we usually are looking for a lot, what we get excited a lot about in the Western society. And there are a lot of other indications, you know, for karmic relationship. I've made hundreds of hours of videos on each Ketu position with each planet, with each house, with each, you know, where I go much more in depth, you know. But there are other karmic indications. For example, in Western, which is more modern astrology, it's the outer planets that are considered the really karmic ones. It's basically planets that are from Saturn onwards. Saturn, Neptune, Pluto are extremely karmic in a sense, and and Uranus, of course, they provoke extreme reactions in people when they in hard aspects with the Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus, and only the hard aspects are here. You know, opposition, conjunction within 5, 6, 7 degrees. You know, I wouldn't give them too wide orbs. But when they send difficult aspects to Ascendant, Sun, or Moon, each one gives different karmic influences. But this is when these planets are, Saturn gives heavy responsibility karma, and it kind of hooks you through those responsibilities. Once you get into a Saturn interpersonal planet relationship, it's very hard to break it because you have some heavy things to do, responsibilities before you can unhook yourself. And it's not the most pleasant. It feels like heavy relationship, but people feel safe and stable in those ones. Not exciting, but safe and stable. It's like the tested and tried. They prefer to stay with them, and usually some responsibilities for them to stay. With Uranus, those relationships are very karmic in the sense that these people that you have strong interaspects, they can come and go from your life. This can be those relationships that come and appear out of the blue and disappear out of the blue, and you're left like, what happened? Gathering the pieces of your heart, you know. some kind of a randomness, some kind of a disruptiveness in the relationships, suddenness and fastness. But they're about teaching you liberation. And these people can, yeah, might have a karma. For example, you've been suffering and in love with someone for 10 years, and even though you broke 7 years and you can't let go, and then a Uranus person comes into your life, and you forget the other one in one day, you know. So this is how, what karma this Uranus person brought you. Like, he helped you forget someone, cut them off out of your mind. The Uranus person, that when you have strong Uranus interaspects, these people, you might get together, like I had with the previous partner, we both had Uranus opposition suns. So we got together 7 times and separated 7 times over 7 years. And it's kind of on and off influence. And that's some Uranian lessons that you have to learn about kind of independence, about individuality, about in a sense, beating your own drum and walking under your own drum and being, and some kind of liberation, emotional, psychological, you know. But it's disruptive. It's kind of up and down, or maybe you live in different countries, so you see each other once a month, you travel to see each other once a month. But it's exciting. It's very exciting. These are the relationships, the Uranus ones, when you see them, you're like, oh, I fell in love at first sight. You know, they can, with suddenness, they come to you, and excitability, but they're not stable usually when it's the hard aspect. Of course, they can survive as well, but the 2 people need to give each other a lot of freedom in some way, and they need to give. And in my videos, I explain everything basically there. How to work with those, because each video is like almost 1 hour for each aspect, you know, interaspects between planets. But Neptune, for example, these are the relationships. When you have strong Neptune interaspect, these are the ones that you long for and pine for years, and you idealize after they finished. And you probably need someone with Uranus to come to kick you out of that kind of, you know, idealization. And these are the ones that you feel, wow, this is my soulmate. We don't need to talk. We hear each other's thoughts, you know. And these are, but they can be very misleading. Maybe something secretive about them. Maybe something you're not very clear about. Maybe some lying that happens as well. This is the negative side. The positive side is that these people, there might be karma of delusion that they're rebalancing. So you lied to them in a past lifetime, now they do it, or the opposite way, you know. Or there might be some karma of cheating as well, because Neptune is like that. But there is also karma of unconditional help with Neptune. Say Neptune conjunct someone's moon, this person might be there to give back unconditional love for someone's care from a past lifetime, you know, if someone cared for them. And the Neptune person is always very permissive to the, they might delude them, but they permit them to do a lot of things. And sometimes you need someone to be more permissive towards you rather than forbidding, because because of their acceptance, you love yourself more as well. Sometimes we need such people. It's very healing influence when someone is very Neptunian towards us, permissive and, you know, allowing. Then the Pluto, it's a bit like Rahu. It's a bit obsessive. It's a bit about playing a chess game all the time. What is the next move? There is manipulation. There is, and it's interesting. It's exciting, but it's intense. It's like constantly strategizing your moves, and they might create obsessions and jealousies and extreme behaviors. Someone whose Pluto, for example, my husband, whose Pluto aspects my Mars, and I'm the quietest, more gentle, non-abusive or aggressive person ever. And because my husband has Pluto aspects my Mars, I burst out with such anger towards him. You know, I can become even physically violent, and I wonder where did it come from, because Pluto is this volcanic planet that erupts whatever planet it aspects in a hard aspect with, intensifies it, and it's you know, it kind of makes us look at the dark side that we never thought we had. And there is this kind of a controlling influence between two people, and it might not be very obvious, to be honest. It's very subtle sometimes. It's subtle but deep psychological. And again, in the videos, I describe everything, how to deal with Pluto, what is the best way to act when you have strong Pluto interaspects, or when you have it with every planet, you know. And it's very interesting. They work so well, and the closer the degrees between the planets, that you see them so clearly. I had a friend whose moon, Mercury, which is communication and thoughts, falls exactly on my Neptune, less than a degree, and we read each other's thoughts. It's crazy, but she says something, and I say, I was just thinking exactly the same sentence, or I'll do that, or we'll start talking the same thing at the same time. And when one has an idea, the other one picks it up, which is Neptune, intuitive, you know. So they can play very well. Very interesting dynamics, you know, from the highest manifestation to the lowest manifestation. And every person, even if they're harming in some way, even if they're pressing your buttons, being aggressive to you, being disrespectful, they're teaching you a powerful lesson, and you have to be grateful. The faster you become accepting of this, and you become reconciled with this within yourself, the faster you resolve the karma, and you have this person out of your life, or this person stopping acting like that. If you constantly, if you have, say, strong Pluto or whatever, if you constantly obsess, follow the person, check the emails, you know, kind of spy on them, this person will be, either it gets to a crisis point when the universe cannot allow any more such damage, psychological, done to yourself and the other person, it breaks away the relationship. Or what happens is that you gradually see that such behaviors are unproductive, and you get okay with them, and then the relationship can be transformed into a healthy one, no longer karmic. Or this person will, you just drift from each other, you know. But this is how you recognize when a karmic relationship is ending, or if it's karmic at all, when you don't even have to know astrology, when someone presses your buttons in all the wrong ways, but you cannot help but deal with them, and they're in your life for some reason, but are they cheating? Are they taking more? Are you giving more? Are they telling you not right things? Or are they coming and going, whatever? Or are they have habits that annoy you, but you still don't know why, and you react strongly, whether within yourself or outwardly? This means that the karma hasn't run out. You haven't worked through it. And once you start realizing that you're reacting less and less violently, less and less upset about this thing, this is when, you know, you can open, basically, you can transform it into a good one, or someone better will come. But if you cut it off, usually if you cut such a relationship, it's become too much. The universe breaks it down because it's too much. You can't stand it anymore. The other person, they run away because you're a psycho, crazy follower, someone who checks everything, doesn't let them have a move on their own or take a step alone. If you interrupt such a relationship before having healed, the next one you will be the same. Different person, but different, very similar lessons, you know. And usually you see what kind of karmic lessons and what you're working on, first by your natal own aspects. If you have strong Pluto difficult aspects in your horoscope, you'll probably often meet people who trigger those difficult aspects with their Pluto or something, your horoscope, and or someone scorpionic or something like that, that they act like that with their own planets. Or you might be having a transit. For example, if you're having a Neptune opposition aspect, you can lose your head and totally start dating someone and find out later they're actually married, you know, or something like that. And it's about surrender. Neptune is about surrender and merging, and so basically the transits you're having will very much show what kind of relationship, and always it works with the synastry. So your Neptune is transiting opposition your moon, you meet someone whose Neptune squares your moon. Saturn is transiting your moon, you meet someone whose Saturn who is very Saturnian, who has moon Saturn in their horoscope, for example, by birth. You know, they become your Saturn basically. But if you don't have this aspect in the natal chart, if it's just something temporarily, usually you quickly learn this lesson. It doesn't repeat over and over in your lifetime. It's just kind of a temporary, quick lesson, you know, that you decided to do. And when the next big outer planet transit happens, usually you go to a different lesson. So you might be able to let go of this person, or you might be able to learn the lesson and transform it by then. Because there is a theory which I have seen work, that basically the planets after Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, and it's really amazing theory, and it really works. Once they transit, sometimes it can continue for about 2 years. But actually, it's the resonance, the influence of this transit continues to resonate and to vibrate into the life and a bit to the background, but you still feel the themes of it till the next hard aspect from one of the outers to the same planet. So say this woman who had Neptune opposition Moon in say 7 years or something, say you've had it and it continues about a year, and she fell in love with someone and she longs for this person, whether they're together or separated. If the next transit to the Moon is in 3 years by Uranus, but only this hard aspect, the conjunction square opposition, then by the next aspect, when Uranus comes, she will forget this person. But if it's in 15 years, she might continue to long for this person for 15 years. And it depends, you know, sometimes it's different. Sometimes it might be even 1 year, the difference to the next aspect. And sometimes it might be 20 years. And that's why some people, well, they have to have also indications to be hanging on to something so long, you know, indications in the horoscope that they're not letting go easily. But sometimes that's why there might be very big gaps where you are regurgitating those lessons, where this vibration is still with you, you're still thinking about that. And obviously the universe and your soul chose this because it's a longer lesson that you have to learn. So if it's 15 years to the next, you know, transit to your Moon, well, I guess you need this energies for those 15 years that the person brought to you, whether they're in your life or no. And you can continue to live with those ideas and to learn those lessons. And then when the next big aspect comes from outers, Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, a new person usually tends to come and teach you. And whether it's love, sexual relationships, or just friendships in some way, recognitions, these come to us through some kind of people that are very, whatever the planet is transiting, they're very Plutonic or Uranian or Neptunian, and they, in a positive or negative way, they teach us those lessons.
So do you have, I'd like us to go and get some questions. There are some people here. I was wondering if anybody has any specific questions for you that you might, you know, so we have an application of all the things that you've been talking about.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to post a question.
Can you read
it? Do you see your Q&A? Is your Q&A?
No, I'm not gonna touch anything.
Okay. So someone wanted to know, are there differences between sidereal or tropical systems, the K2 house placement in karmic relationships?
Yeah, it can change. Well, usually the house position. Look at the house cusp that Ketu is triggering, because the house cusp is the specific thing in your life. And also look at the sign from ascendant that Ketu is triggering. Because the signs from the ascendant is basically your relationship with this thing, your personal relationship, because the ascendant is you. Say if your Ketu falls in the 3rd house with the 2nd house cusp, and the 3rd sign from ascendant from the 2nd house cusp, it will both have the role of a 3rd house and 2nd house role. The house cusps, what actually happens in reality, in objective reality, the signs from ascendant whole sign system, as we count them, they're how this thing relates to you personally. How this thing, it's how 3rd house activity will relate to you personally, because it's how you interpret it within yourself, in a sense. So both 2nd and 3rd house influences will be valid, but I use tropical. I don't know, I see great results for personal astrology. For love, tropical works great, you know. For some other questions, when I do mundane predictions, it's fantastic looking at sidereal astrology, but then I look straight at the constellations and, you know. But for personal astrology, we, for us, the tropical zodiac works on a personal level much more, because the sidereal constellation, it's on a much higher level. It's like on for the whole humanity as a whole, you know, the constellations actually. And we're not working at this level of consciousness to be, you know, to be so affected by the sidereal yet. Now we're on the local, because the tropical is the local zodiac, the relationship between the sun and our earth, while the constellation, a constellational astrology is the relationship of our solar system with the other stars around, with the whole. So it's on a much high level. But yeah, I would use tropical.
So does anybody else have a question for Lada? I'm not seeing any other questions right now. So, well, was there anything else you wanted to add before we closed, Lada? Is there anything else?
I want to apologize. Sorry for having difficulty logging in. But yeah, maybe you can cut the first 7 minutes from the video and then post it. But thank you so much. I can speak for hours, but I guess we have 1 hour only. So
you want to give out your website so people know where to find you?
If people want to find more about relationships, I have a whole course on it. And they can go to astrolada.com. And I've done about 80 videos of in-depth talking about each aspect combination, a planet with planet, sun with Uranus of one person, well, whatever, all the interplanetary aspects. And there I speak everything about karma and relationships, how to deal with difficult relationships, how to see in the horoscope. Maybe that's interesting to teach one day, also in an interview, but how to see if someone is good at all at relationships, because some people, they only become good in relationships later in their age. Some people are like the bad boy, the heartbreakers, or the one who always suspects and gets tantrums and gets a ball buster. You know, you can see this so easily. And there are two positions in the horoscope that indicate it so easily. For men and for women is different. But this shows your capacity for relationships. And I teach this there. And I teach how to recognize karmic relationships. And I teach everything about relationships that I know. I teach it in about 70, 80 hours videos. And people, even without any kind of knowledge on astrologically, they can, it starts from the basics. So they can go, they can find it on my website. It's Learn Love Astrology. And it's many hours of fun. They can become even professional. Once they take this course, they can start doing readings for, for others.
Yeah, it sounds really thorough. So thanks to all of you for joining us for this episode of Conversation to Enlighten and Heal with my guest, Lada Duncheva. Remember to subscribe so you never miss a show. My next conversation show will be about creating passionate and lasting love, sex, and intimacy, the title of my guests, Molly Apple and Joe Dunn's latest book. Molly and Joe are relationship coaches, lovers, and best friends. Molly and Joe's best-selling book, The Soulmate Experience, won an International Book Awards Gold Medal and a Living Now Awards Silver Medal. On the show, Molly and Joe will talk about conscious romantic love and how to connect for lasting love. If finding new love and rekindling your love connection is on your radar, then you don't want to miss this fascinating show. Have a beautiful day, everyone, or mahalo, and much love to you. Wishing you happy days always. Thanks again, Lada. It's been a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you so much, dear. It was lovely.
Until next time, relax, enjoy your life, and stay connected.